Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Morning. Sorry, a bit of a panic this morning. Son's just tested positive for COVID, so I just had to phone the school and stuff and order PCR tests and things. So a little bit unorganised this morning. I haven't got it though, honestly. Can't catch it through YouTube, I don't think, so you should be all right. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Not a very good day yesterday. Didn't manage to bank anything really. Just 0.4% on that little trade I had. Can't remember which one it was, but yeah, not a lot of banked yesterday. Obviously, it was bank holiday yesterday in America, so we didn't get a lot of afternoon movement. We didn't get a lot of movement at all actually yesterday, so not particularly amazing. A few of the Aussies and other things moved a little bit, but most pairs just pretty much sideways. So today we have news. This morning we've had the BOJ press conference and the Outlook report, monetary policy statement, etc. The indices have reacted negatively to that this morning. We've had a big push down. We'll have a look at those in a minute. 10 o'clock this morning, we've got a bit of Euro economic sentiment news, which doesn't tend to do an awful lot. And then afternoon, we've got Empire State Manufacturing Index, which again doesn't tend to do an awful lot either. So again, another flat day on the news today. But as we had a bank holiday yesterday, we should see some decent move coming in. So how old is my son? He's 13. So yes. So we've chucked him in his room. Not allowed out now. Going to do a test in a minute. Anyway, right. So that's news today. Not a lot of news. Obviously, Bank of Japan news has moved the market. So if we have a quick flick through the yens, obviously you can see we've had quite a bit of volatility on the yens. Moves up and moves down. Hasn't gone anywhere though. Obviously, this is where the news all started coming out. We haven't actually gone anywhere on the yens, but we've had the volatility. So no real directional movement. The main movers, S&P coming down hard this morning. I've just entered a new position on the S&P down there, and the NAS as well come down fairly hard at the London Open. We had a big move down. Obviously, we don't tend to get a lot of movement on the indices in Asia, but obviously that Asian news this morning has moved down a little bit. So good spots to buy though. Big down candle this early on in the day. Potentially today we could be putting in one of these nice big wicks. So if we can finish with a flourish, we could have a really nice big up day today. So obviously a good spot to buy on pullbacks. And we've done quite a lot of ADR today. We're nearly down at 100 ADR at the London Open. So nice moves. US dollar CAD, please. Yeah, have a look at that in a minute. Trading desk should be getting back to fully staffed again. Yeah, we had proper volumes last week. Really good week last week. Made loads last week. So had loads of volume last week, which is good. Same age as mine. Hope the rest of you are okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I feel okay. I shouldn't joke about COVID. I don't know many people that have had it, to be honest. A handful. Been very lucky. Have evaded it so far. It's taken 2 years to get to us. So, but anyway, enough of that. Right. So let's have a look at where we are with RSIs and ADRs. ADRs, Aussie New Zealand is the only hit so far this morning. Let's just scroll out and have a look at that one on M15. So as you can see, this isn't really a hit. This is a broker candle. I've got an alert on. So we had this, obviously we closed here and then a couple of minutes later we opened all the way down here. So this is just a broker candle. Basically they spread 318, so 31 pips. They spread 32 pips basically on a 42 ADR pair. So that's not an ADR hit. That's just basically the brokers mucking about. So ignore that one. So there's no ADR hits really so far this morning. Pound New Zealand isn't far off. Had a really good strong move up on that one. If you look at the New Zealand pairs, we had a big dump during Asia, and it still seems to be dumping a little bit at the moment. So pound New Zealand obviously is pushed up. We may well get decent hits on these New Zealand dollar pairs today up at ADRs, so they're worth having a look at. But nothing's hit so far, so keep an eye. If you've got the ADR dashboard or the ADR indicator, keep an eye on alerts on these, because quite a few of these are getting fairly close, and a lot of them have put in these big propulsion candles, which, as we know, quite often will get faded and filled before they continue an up move, if they're going to do that. So could be some really good fade ADR trades today. 4 hours, Aussie dollar CAD in this one already. So I got into first position on this one. Let me just move out to the 4 hour chart so we can see what we're doing. Got into the first position on this one here. I think it was about here. Or was it here? I think I got into this one yesterday, didn't I? Can't remember. Yesterday or the day before. So just got into this one basically recently. With an initial position there, expecting to get this gap filled. We have filled it and we have crashed through it. This is off the back of the yen. Well, not the yen news basically. So you can see all the Aussies have had a decent push down so far today. So this one's just pushing down off the back of that news. Next stop is going to be down here, potentially for a double bottom bounce, which is at ADR today. So if we get pushed down to ADR today and a reversal alert on lower time frame, but taking another position on that one long, we are massively extended. If you look at the, it's like textbooks, usual stuff. We get down to these ADRs and we get the pullbacks. So we've had all this big, strong, RSI extensions, and we get the pullbacks. So we've had all this massive, strong move extended down pretty much to the 20 level now. We haven't had a profit take on this entire move. So we'll be looking for a minimum of a profit take, if not a pullback or reversal. So you can measure this one in a couple of ways. Take this move here. This is the entire move so far. We'll be looking for a pullback somewhere around the 38 to 50 level. Failing that, obviously we can go a lot higher than that. The other option obviously is that we look at either that move or the entire move. We don't know which it's going to be a pullback of, but at the moment obviously you can see the market structure is very simple. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, putting in the lower low, expect to get down to here and then put in the pullback. So just waiting for that one to actually get to wherever it wants to stop and reverse from. So it looks really nice, Aussie dollar CAD, but still for longs, 25 extension, 25 extension. Maybe getting down to 20 in the London session. If the London session can pull it down further, obviously even better. The more extended we get, the bigger that spring back is going to be. Pound CAD, we looked at this one yesterday as well. So obviously this one was extended. We have got lovely tails going in on the pound CAD at the moment. There's no real reason for this one to be turning here. We're entering into this area of balance at the moment here, this consolidation period, which is where we're kind of getting stuck. These lows here are obviously off of this support. You can see the zone that I've got drawn in here. So we've just basically taken out these lows. So if any of you that are familiar with Wyckoff, however you want to pronounce it, we quite often get a spring, and this one looked like that was going to be the spring, and then the drop, consolidation, and drop. So that is potentially what could be happening now. The other reverse is that we are sitting on this level of support and just doing a liquidity run on this level. ready to pounce to the upside. So it's going to be one or the other. At the moment, it's looking really bullish. So this looks like it could potentially just be running the stops below these lows here, ready to push back up to the highs. But obviously we've been in this consolidation period since mid-December, and there's no real directional bias on it. So we'll see what happens with this one today. But it's in a really good spot for taking a long from here. The only thing I don't like about this one, and I've been saying this for a while, I don't like the way it's kind of ground up here. Hasn't really left any decent support levels on the way up for bounces. So it's just been a real strong, solid squeeze to the upside. So, you know, you have to kind of look at areas like this as potential bounce points, which are not really that strong. So if this doesn't hold and go from here and is going to come down, it's very difficult to call where we're going to stop. I suspect it's going to be somewhere around here, but it's a difficult one. So it's a bit of a dangerous long, this one, but it could well pay off very, very nicely. So we're not massively extended, but we are extended. So I would expect to push up from this area. But equally, if this was the wick off spring and this is the consolidation, we could be dropping. So I'm not really interested in taking this one because I'm not 100% sold on it in either direction at the moment. Whenever I see price starting to stall, I like to just put a trend line, a horizontal line on it, just to see if there's a reason for the stalling here. And as you can see, looking to the left, this is a very, very, very strong support. So there's an awful lot going for it at this point for a push higher. Nicely extended on the RSI, beautiful support level, and potential liquidity run. So confluence is all there for a long on that one. So up to you if you want to take that one. I'm unsure. So I'm going to pass on it at the moment, but I'm over 50% that we're going to get a spring from this. So what I might do actually on this one, we've had the reversal and the retest, haven't we? Tell you what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to take a long because we've had the reversal and the retest, and I'm just going to stick a little stop under there. So I'm going to play this one with a stop because I'm not 100% convinced on it. So rather than scaling into a position, I'm just going to take one there and just go for a standard risk reward trade back up into that area up there. So sort of 70 pips, just under an ADR. And if that plays out, it plays out. If it doesn't, not that bothered. But looks beautiful price action wise, really good. So pound CAD looking good. New Zealand dollar CAD, same thing as the Aussie CAD. So only take one of these. I'm on Aussie CAD, so I won't take New Zealand CAD. Aussie and New Zealand tend to move in tandem. This one is a real steam train at the moment as well. Obviously, it's very similar price action to the Aussie CAD. You can see we're approaching that level on the Aussie CAD. The New Zealand CAD, we are clear below. We've gone way beyond that potential bounce point. We did bounce from it. But again, market structure on this one, very clear. Yeah, so we're looking for a pullback. We're massively extended. Whenever we get to these levels, we get at least some kind of pullback, whether it be a weak pullback or a strong pullback. Yeah, so we're pounced, ready to go. So monitor this one, lower time frames if you want to. Wait for reversal alerts, M5, M15. Obviously, it's coming down hard today off the back of the yen news. The yen press conference. There's obviously something said in there they didn't like. So yeah, look for longs on that one as well, New Zealand dollar CAD. Hourly extensions, that's all the 4 hours done. That's all we've got extended at the moment. As I say, Aussie dollar CAD is the only other one that I'm on. My Euro Swiss as well that I'm on. Again, still not gone anywhere. I nearly took some profit on this one yesterday and I didn't bother. It's just not going anywhere at the moment. 2 days. Friday we didn't go anywhere. Yesterday we haven't gone anywhere. Today we're thinking about it. It's looking bearish at the moment, so hopefully we're going to get the start of the drop on that one today. Euro New Zealand as well, somebody was mentioning. That one, Has broken out of the range. So from a daily perspective, this is the range that we're in. This control candle here is basically where we had all those wicks. Yeah, yesterday we actually broke out above, and today we're putting in a strong move. So we do have the occasional break, obviously, of a range before it pulls back. If this one holds above here today, we're probably off to the upside. So we'll see if we get that drop. This is obviously based on that New Zealand dollar weakness, nothing to do with the euro. So the euro will be kicked around at the moment in either a positive or negative way by all other currencies because it's fairly neutral. It's got nothing much going for it, the euro. So this is New Zealand dollar weakness. If that New Zealand dollar move is reversed, obviously, this is just going to come straight back down again. So that's those ones. So that's all those extensions. Looking at the hourlies, I'll come on to US dollar CAD in a minute. Aussie dollar CAD, we've got extended on the hourly. Obviously, this is the one that I'm already in on the 4 hourly and New Zealand dollar CAD. So again, massively extended and embedded down here. We've just been hovering around at the bottom there. So, whenever we get this kind of squeeze consolidation where we enter into those areas, we either go into a range and push before the push, and push back down another leg before the pullback, the profit take. So this whole move here, this is the profit take move on it. We're in the same situation at the moment. So we're just waiting for that spring. So make sure when you're scaling in, you see I've just taken my second position on that one today, that you're keeping your average within an ADR so that when you get that ADR pullback, we've got our out to take profit. New Zealand dollar CAD is the other one that's extended on the hourly. So again, it's difficult coming out of bank holidays because you got this light liquidity, and then obviously you get the liquidity all dumped in at the same time. So, yeah, big strong push down. New Zealand dollar CAD well embedded. There's not really anywhere, as I say, on this one. There's nowhere to go below at the moment. You have to come out to the daily if you want to find some support levels on this one. Let's have a look where we're potentially heading to. I've got it marked on the chart already. But this area here, we've got some areas which are kind of support resistive that I've got drawn in here. Been tapped into multiple times. So we're heading down into this zone here. When we get down there, we should get a bounce. But that's 200 ADR. So unlikely to hit it today, but you never know. It depends obviously what's going on with that yen news. We might well get a big strong push down on the Australasian pairs during London and New York. It's going to take an awfully big move though to get that one down any further. We're looking 150 to 200 ADR push today. If we get down to there today, be all over that for a long. So that's it on the extensions. That's all we've got. Nothing much else. Let's have a quick look at the US dollar CAD. Sam, are you in US dollar CAD at the moment? You're in a long, are you? I obviously got out of this one. So I took the trade and exited, hit my TP basically. And obviously we had a second leg move up there. We're just pulling back at the moment. So it's deeper than a 61.8 retracement. So looks like it's just basically a pullback to me. Back into these buy areas. Yeah, so this is obviously the pullback. So we had this initial move, 61.8 pullback into that. Big strong push. Left these big propulsion candles. This is where the move started from this accumulation there. And we pulled back into it, defended it multiple times, crashed that one, and then we've pushed back out of this area here. And at the moment, obviously, this big propulsion candle here has made that gap, which we're pulling back into. So That's what I would be looking at. US dollars long. So, good area to start buying from. Can you use 0.8 ADR as a distance in trades? Yes, you could. I don't know why, but you could do, yeah. You can use anything. But what the relevance is of 0.8 ADR, I've never tested, so I can't tell you what relevance that has. I know that 58% of the time we stay within ADR. I don't know what the percentages are of staying in 0.8. Couldn't tell you. Never tested it. You can test that. You can go and get the data. What happened with US 100? Look at the indices next, and the dollar index. Long on US dollar CAD takes a while to turn around. Yes, everything takes a while. We have to be patient. It's the biggest problem everybody has in trading is patience, and you have to be patient in trading. It takes a long time for stuff to move. So look at these 2 days here, and yesterday. You don't move. That's what I say. 58% of the time we're sitting within our normal daily ranges, which means basically 58% of the time we're doing that. Yeah, 80% of the time on our market is ranging. 20% of the time it's trending. Yeah, and in that 80% of the time that a market is ranging, 60% of the time it's ranging tight. So we have to be patient, and this is all basically designed to chop you and I out, to take our stops, to accumulate positions so that they can move that 20% trend. So you've got to be patient. So what happened with the indices? Let's have a look at the US dollar index first. So Dixie, yesterday obviously we went nowhere. Friday we had that big, nice, strong push. So this area here is where we were looking to come back up to, into this big sell here. US dollar, we're waiting for some strength to come through, and obviously we got a start of a move on Friday, and then obviously yesterday was the bank holiday. This morning US dollars had a very, very nice strong push and pullback, and it looks like it's going to continue up. We have got all this selling pressure here though, which it's got to get through first, and then when it gets through that, it's got all of this selling pressure here and this massive multi-week accumulation to then try to get through before it can break out and start moving long. So got a hell of a battle ahead of it, hasn't it, the US dollar? I am long on it overall, but it's going to be a tough slog to get through all of that. So we have started the move though. Excuse me. We got the reversal alert off of the area that I drew in for that support resistance. So we bounced perfectly, got the reversal alert, we've pulled back and we are pushing. But this is the area which is going to be the test as to whether or not this US dollar is actually going to bounce or break. We don't know. So today, hopefully, will give us an indication. If we can break into this area, I would say this is the pullback that we've been waiting for. Perfect pullback to 61.8 on that move to bounce from. So looking good for US dollar longs. Therefore, obviously the US dollar CAD, US dollar Swiss, and US dollar yen. Looking for long positions on. Again, I got out my US dollar yen. So, of course, it pushed up. So that's that one. The S&P and the NAS, nice drops down this morning. So the markets, we're in earnings season at the moment. So it's just kicking off. So earnings, obviously, as you can see, coming out this week. We've got Goldman Sachs pre-market today. PMO stands for pre-market. It says up there, pre-market open, and AMC is aftermarket close. So these are basically all being released before 2:30 this afternoon. So you will see the effects of these pre-market in the indices a lot of the time, but when the market opens, that's when the flurry comes in. Netflix, we've got Thursday. That's the main one that is going to impact the NAS, obviously. And then we've got Schlumberger, but next week is really when it all kicks off. So at the moment, there's a lot of positioning going on, which is why we're seeing quite a bit of movement, where people are just basically jostling for position ahead of earnings reports and waiting for the earnings reports to catapult the market, assuming the earnings reports are going to be good. There's no reason why they shouldn't be, really. I mean, business has gone back to norms to a certain extent, but obviously the tech sector, the NAS, has been hit by semiconductor manufacturing shortages, raw material shortages, which has led on to manufacturing problems. There's been distribution problems. The automotive sector has been hit by the tech sector not being able to build cars. My brother-in-law's just bought a Tesla. His car has been released without certain parts in it because they haven't got them. So they're going to retrofit them. So there's a lot of still Corona sort of stuff lying around that is impacting these markets, which is why we're seeing a lot more sideways volatility at the moment. But as usual, if ever you're seeing pullbacks, that's when I'm looking to get in. We will be making new highs at some point, and this 2-week period coming up will be when we start to make those pushes. So looking at it from a daily perspective, obviously yesterday we didn't really go anywhere. I was hoping yesterday we were going to just break back above the opening range, but we didn't manage to. So little down day yesterday. We've had a decent push down during Asia and London. So, you look at the average candle, if we're going to get a big down day, we've pretty much put most of that in already today. So on lower time frames, I wouldn't expect to go much deeper than sort of 125 ADR. Maybe 150 ADR if we are going to get a continuation push to the downside today. But we've already put in a big move down. So I would suspect when New York opens, we'll want to be shooting up today. Same with the NAS. Big, nice down day. We've stopped bang on support. Yeah. So previous day's low, Friday's low. We came back down, tapped straight into Friday's low and rejected off of that. So we'll see what happens with London. If London can pull it back into the Asian range, into this area here, this is what we've got to beat today. As soon as we break that, we're off. We're coming back up to here. So no idea what's going to happen, obviously. We've got to wait for market open today. But pre-market, obviously, big down move. And whenever you get a big down move pre-market, it's usually a good indication that we're going to buy. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, some decent moves down so far this morning. Aussie dollar CAD is going lower. My next trade is 1 ADR distance, so just fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. That's why I want a bit closer to the level to hit second trade by EA. Aussie dollar CAD. Yeah, we're just stalling out at the moment down here. So likely we are going to head. I mean, you can never tell, but the vast majority of the time, we tend to aim for levels. But whenever you get into these balance areas, yeah, these accumulations are if you look at a volume profile, yeah, these accumulations are basically the market gathering orders, yeah, ready to move the market. So all they do is they build a book, and the book will then be either net long or net short. And if it's a net long book, they'll push, bank it, and then let someone else take over. If it's a net short, they'll go short, bank it, and let someone else take over. This is a net long. Yeah, if they haven't exited those positions, this is the area they defend. As we know, they haven't defended that area. So this move is complete. Yeah, they've done it. They've built their positions. They've moved up. They're out. So when we get to these areas again, these tend to act as buy zones again. So at the moment, as you can see, we've got buyers starting to step in. But we could well see that sort of movement happening for days before we get the next position moved. And obviously we are in a gradual downtrend, so it could well break this and go further down. But if it gets all the way down there, obviously that spring back is going to be a lot harder. Yeah, we'll be looking for that type of movement. So that's all that's happening. And at the moment, what we're doing is we're slowing down because we're hitting a load of buyers. There's a load of buyers stepping in here because that's where they stepped in last time. That's literally what we're seeing. So where it's going, nobody knows. We just have to play, obviously, what we can see happening and repeating over and over again, which is strong moves and pullbacks. Strong moves and pullbacks. Strong moves and pullbacks. Profit takes. So as long as you're keeping your positioning within an ADR, we will always get one ADR push at some point, and that is the profit take move. Yeah, it's that. That's what we're waiting for. Or that. Yeah. Or that. Yeah. Whichever, whatever it is, it's a strong move in one direction, usually roughly an ADR or more. If it's just going to be a pullback, obviously, if it's not going to be a pullback and it's going to be a reversion, then we don't care, do we? It's just going to go. So EuroCAD is looking like a nice buy. EuroCAD. Yep, EuroCAD. I would never buy the CAD. The Euro. Personally, I'm selling the Euro. But yeah, I mean, it's potentially a nice reversal alert retest. But equally, market structure on this one is definitely bearish. There's lots of places to visit down here before we start a pop, assuming we are going to hold. Yeah. So looking at news, obviously we got Euro news at 10 o'clock this morning. It's just sentiment, not massive. The market is really waiting at the moment for pound CPI tomorrow morning. That's the first red news we've got, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then obviously we've got Canadian CPI tomorrow afternoon. So if you're going to trade Euro CAD, tomorrow afternoon is really when you're going to get your main movement on this one. But personally, I'd be waiting for a pullback and a drop on it. But obviously, if you can play the pullback, you can make money in both directions. Yeah, if you want to go long on it, go long on it. Just be aware that we're in a massive downtrend, so don't get too long on it. Look for areas that we're likely to head to. Yeah, so it could be like that, could be like that. I have buy order on Aussie dollar CAD at 89.81. Yeah, somewhere around there would be good. Anywhere down there, anywhere at ADR. If we get down, I mean, we're assuming we're going to get down there. If we get down to ADR, then yeah, beautiful. That's where I'll be getting in my next position down there. But hopefully won't need it. Hopefully just be out of it long. What are the Euro US dollar and pound US dollar doing at this stage? Could you check those for me? Yeah, Euro US dollar. Be looking for shorts. So we are. What's that line there? Is that a fib? Got a weird line. Don't know what that line is. That's a retracement, a 261 retracement off of some other chart. Yeah, so for that, let me just get rid of that fib. It's confusing me. Right, so yeah, Euro US dollar. Obviously, this is the inverse of the Dixie. So this is the US dollar accumulation phase. We broke out to the downside on the US dollar, if you remember. and now it is pulling back into this buy area, which is a potential support. But this is the euro. So the euro is very, very weak. The US dollar is expected to be powering up. Therefore, this will be going down if that happens. But this is a market structure break, obviously. But you know what happens with breakouts? Most breakouts are false breakouts. So we could well see this just pull back. So this is a typical sort of moving average catch-up play. So with the 72 and the 24, one of two things tends to happen. As you can see, is a good example of it here. Yeah, either the price pushes down, and which obviously brings your moving averages down, and price pushes back up into the moving average, meets it and bounces off, or price pushes down, goes into a consolidation, and the moving average comes down on top of price and tends to push it down. Yeah, so these are good examples here, where you've got a consolidation and then the moving average coming down onto price and pushing it down. The 72 does the same thing, comes down on top of price and pushes it down. So this is potentially just the market waiting for the next leg down, in which case what they will do is accumulate a position, wait for everybody to go short, put their stop orders up there, take their stop orders and run. So that is potentially what we're seeing playing out now. And if you look at the Dixie, obviously it's going to be the inverse. So the Dixie, we had the accumulation. Remember we looked at this a minute ago? This is a 61.8 pullback on that move. So that is potentially what I see playing out at the moment as one scenario. The other scenario is we are not going to go long on the US dollar at the moment. We have just started our leg down to come and retest this area down here. But there's a beautiful bounce just happened on the Dixie. So again, I don't know. No one knows what's happening in the market. We haven't got a crystal ball. One of those two things is happening at the moment, and you have to position yourself accordingly. So you scale into your positions based on what you think the market is going to be doing next. So pound US dollar, looking at that one, we've just pulled up into this area up here. Yeah, so this is a strong support resistance. We've got tapped into that many times and either accumulated around it or bounced off of it. We come straight off of it. Big selling area. Started this down move. The first retest, we've bounced. Yeah. So again, for me, this is US dollar strength. Pushing back down to there. But obviously the pound is a lot stronger than the euro. So the pound could well be just coming down to retest this area and bouncing from there. Again, we don't know, do we? Market structure only happens as long as market structure happens. Then you get a break in market structure and it goes the other way. When that market structure break is going to happen, we don't know. This could well be it. This one here. So we could basically now do that. Don't know. Or we could continue that. Don't know. One or the other. But you position yourself accordingly. Pick a side. That's all you can do. Get on the train, ride the train, wait for the pullbacks to get out of your positions. Make it sound really simple. It's obviously not simple, is it? Otherwise we'd all be millionaires. But this looks short to me at the moment, pound US dollar. Beautiful M pattern reversal up there. Yeah. There's a tighter M in there as well. But we are coming down to this. I mean, there's so many levels in here that this thing could bounce at. It's impossible to pick a point of support and resistance on this thing. There's loads of them. Anywhere could be. I mean, right now, let's draw that one in because that's a really good strong one. Look, right now where we've stopped on the Asian levels, on the Asian low, is there. Could come down to here or here or here. Don't know. Very, very difficult. at the moment. It's always difficult. January is a horrible, horrible month to trade. It's a really good month to trade because you get a lot of liquidity and a lot of volatility. But it's a horrible month to trade because you're coming out of the Christmas period, and the Christmas period's price action cannot be trusted. It's either less volatile than normal, or it's more volatile than normal due to slippage. So it's a really difficult month this month, which is why I tend to stick with the big extensions, because I know if we're going to get a big extension like this, we are going to get at least a profit take. I don't care which direction it goes. And, this is how I trade, as you know, if you've been in here for a while. When we have a big move, we're either going to get one of two things. We're going to get a profit take and a continuation, or we're going to get a reversal, which would be something like that. I don't know which it is, but I do know after we've had a big strong move in one direction, we get one or the other. So that's all I'm looking to do, is get out on that. So there was your trade on Thursday last week, and you'll be out with an ADR. That's what I'm doing. Because I don't know, and this is the difficulty. Everyone's trying to pick the trend or pick the range or play the breakout. It's so difficult to trade that way. When is this going to break out? When is this breakout going to finish? Right now. Oh, excellent. Let's all go long. Okay, brilliant. Let's put our stops under here. Whoops. Why do that? Why get chopped to pieces by the market? The market is manufactured to come and take your liquidity. This is a prime example of why you don't play breakouts. Right there. Everybody went long. So they either put their stop there, there, or there. They all got taken out. Then it went that way and everyone goes, oh, I was right. Too late, missed it. And now it's on a trend. So everyone's trying to play the pullback on the trend, and they go, nah, I'm not going to pull back yet. It's just the whole thing's manufactured to take your money, isn't it? We know that. That's why 95% of people lose money. So don't do it. I don't know the answer to the direction on this one, but I would be short from commitment to traders' perspective. Yeah. US dollar is the only thing the futures market is positioned long-term long on. Everything else it's positioned short on. So as far as I'm concerned at the moment, I'm looking for longs on US dollar, which would mean I'm looking for shorts on pound US dollar. But yeah. But yeah, if you haven't got the US dollar index, don't worry. Just look at the Euro US dollar. It's the same thing. Yeah, so the Euro US dollar and the US dollar index are the same thing. It's just inverse. So if you want to know what the Dixie's up to, what the US dollar's up to, look at Euro US dollar. Whichever way this is going is the opposite way is what the US dollar is doing. Okay, so that's really all I've got for you today. As I say, there's not a lot from an extension perspective. Aussie dollar CAD and New Zealand dollar CAD. Aussie dollar CAD is obviously what I got in from yesterday, which at the moment is kind of putting in a nice bullish move. The S&P and the Nasdaq, that's still coming down a bit this morning, so we've got a bit further movement coming down on that one. If we do get down here on the Nas, I shall be entering another position down there, looking for a bounce if we get down there. I'm surprised actually it's moved this far, to be honest. Yeah, hopefully we get the double bottom bounce here. If not, there is potential for us to come put in a potential double bottom down there. But we'll see what happens this morning in London, see if they can push it down any further today. But if they do, obviously, big strong move down. And we could well be getting this market structure that I spoke about on the NAS. I said NAS is actually bearish at the moment. Yeah, we are putting in potential bearish price action, which would be unusual for this to be pushing down that far. But occasionally we do come down, as I said before, we do come down to the 200 on the NAS. And if that's the case, this is where we're looking to come down to. that area there, which is your 200 moving average. So we may well get the push down to there, and then we'll get a pullback from it. But who knows? We'll see. We're on the bus, and we get off when we can. Pound yen was also a sell. Looks like yen is strong. Yeah, well, remember I've been saying with the yens, obviously they quite often will power up alongside the US dollar, and we're expecting to get some US dollar strength, so it would make sense that we are going to get some yen strength coming through as well. If you look at all the yens, let's have a quick look through them. So Aussie yen coming down hard, CAD yen coming down hard, Swiss yen, yeah. So big yen strength at the moment coming through in London. So anybody that's short anything against the yen, perfect time to get in. Remember I've been saying I've been looking for opportunities to get in short on the yens. I just haven't had any. Haven't had any extensions that have given me opportunities to get in short on the yens. But reversal alerts on these on the hourlies. Not so much US dollar yen. But any of the others against the yen. But this is a beautiful, again, this is a beautiful wick off spring look. The move up, pull back. There's your spring, which is a liquidity run. Support. And then we tend to move back up and shoot from there. But, you know, if this breaks down again below that level, that's the new market structure. Look for pullbacks and drops. Difficult to call at the moment, the yen. This is why I haven't been trading the yen. Because I really haven't got a directional bias on it at the moment. Until the US dollar's established itself with a direction, I just don't know what's going to happen with the yen. So I've been steering clear, which is why I haven't got a lot of exposure on at the moment. Hopefully I bag enough to buy another one of my indicators. Looks promising. Good. Right, so yeah, so that's all really I've got for today. As I say, there's not an awful lot else setting up at the moment from dashboard perspective. ADRs, we still haven't got any. I suspect we'll get some ADR hits today. Normally coming out of a bank holiday, we tend to get a load of liquidity entered the market because obviously all those orders that have built up over the bank holiday, you know, businesses are still transacting. They still need to do foreign exchange transactions. So the commercial desks will still have a load of foreign exchange transactions to perform. So we do quite often see big ADR days off the back of bank holidays. So today will be potentially a big mover, and obviously that will hopefully get us some decent setups on RSI that start to form apart from the ones that we've got at the moment. So okay, so that's really all I've got at the moment for you. Aussie dollar CAD is rising beautifully. Yep. So looking to try and get a reversal out on that one. Again, liquidity run, potentially of Asia. So we had a big push down, started to pull back, stepped in here, the sellers, to push back down again. Buyers have started stepping in New York, in London. But we need a reversal alert first and then retest that to push up. So yeah. Very tired, due a profit take move. Okay, so I'll be back at 2 o'clock this afternoon, as usual. Anything you need, coming to the Telegram group. If you need to discuss anything, indicators, anything at all, I'll be around in there all day. But yeah, so there's not a lot else I'm looking to get into at the moment. Just monitoring my Euro Swiss, which is just chopping, and obviously Aussie CAD, and I'll be keeping an eye on the S&P and the NAS. To see how they hold up at these lows, and get into additional positions as necessary. But if we get an ADR push on those, this is where I'll be interested in starting more long positions on those two. Okay, so anything you need, let me know. Stick it in the Telegram group. I'll be back at 2 o'clock as usual for the New York session, and we should hopefully have a really good, strong move one today. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you all then. If you like the stream, give us a thumbs up before you disappear. And hopefully we'll see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Have a good morning.